the Fayetteville Free Library's Wednesday Halloween project. I'm Jade, and today I'm going to show you how to turn an orange into a mini jack-o'-lantern. There's a couple different ways that you can turn your orange into a jack-o'-lantern, but in all the different ways, you need an orange with a sturdy bottom. This guy's not very sturdy, so I'm probably not going to use him, but he's pretty sturdy. If you do not have a sturdy orange, you may want to cut off the bottom a little bit, but I have found that your orange tends to go moldy if you do that. So it's not advisable. So you start with your orange, take off any tags that I might have on it, and you'll want to take out a toothpick, which are very good for cutting the orange. And you'll first actually want to draw your face on there. So it's just like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. Do it until your lines are even, since you'll be cutting out the marker area. If you have some marker lines in there, that's fine. The lines don't have to be very strong. They can be as light or as dark as you'd like. Anyways, now you'll want to put your toothpick in. You're trying to just cut the skin. You are trying not to cut the orange. So it really depends on whether your orange has a very thick skin. So I would advise not going very deep at first, and cutting deeper later on to get the rest of it out. So first you cut out your eyes. Your toothpick to kind of lever under the skin once you've cut out the outside, and you kind of pull it up using the toothpick. You can use your hands once it gets out most of the way. Now you can see there's plenty of skin still here, so you are going to try and lever that out too. If you get a little bit of orange, that's fine, but preferably you want to not get orange juice everywhere. So there's your first eye, and you'll do the same for the second one. If you cut a little bit inside the Sharpie marks, and there's some Sharpie marks on the outside of where you cut, that's fine because you can just rub them out later. The Sharpie comes off surprisingly easy. This one's a little small, so I'm going to take out some more. Do that until you're satisfied with both of your eyes. So now you have your two eyes of your pumpkin. And now you kind of cut into the mouth. If you get orange juice in your eyes, that's fine, just blink it out. Okay, now I have cut out the outside of this. Now I'm going to lever it out. It is significantly harder than the eyes. It's a much larger thing. So don't worry about it if you have troubles with it. As you can see, there's a lot of white left. So you can try to get that out. That may be hard though. So now I have my mouth and my eyes. You have your little jack-o'-lantern. So the next step will be cutting out the top. It's actually reasonably easy. First you just want to kind of dig it in. You can feel free to marker it out too if you want to know exactly how wide you're going to be doing this. So you can draw in a little circle like that. And then use your toothpick and just do it just like the eyes and the mouth. Push it in and pull it around. This is much harder than the eyes and the mouth, so you may want help from this. You may have to go around it 2 or 3 times before it actually will come nice and easy to get out. Okay, so now if you look, you can see that you have the inside of the orange seam here. you see all the orange slices? So you're going to want to go right in the middle of those and take out the little middle bit. Get as much as you can out. You can not get much out of it, but that's fine. As long as there's a hole there. If you look closely, there's a little hole right in the center there now. So here's where things change. So here's my little pumpkin. You can leave him exactly like this if you want. That's the most basic route. But I found that he will also tend to rot rather fast because it's just open orange. So what you want to do is look around your house and find some whole dried cloves. And then you'll just shake some out. You're going to need quite a few, so you might want to check with a parent before using some of their jar. So they're cute little things. They're like, kind of like a nail, if you think about it like that. But they're not very sharp at all. So you kind of just stick them in to wherever you want. You can push them all the way in like that, or you can leave them pretty much out. Whatever you want. If you have a very tough orange, like, inside of the middle, then you may be able to get them to stick out quite far. But if you have a very soft one, they might go most of the way in. So you just kind of fill in your eyes as much as you want. You can make little patterns, or you can just fill them completely up with these little dried cloves. These will stop the rotting of the eyes or any other open hole. So they are very useful. And they also make it a pomander. Because once the orange dries up, it will still have the dried cloves and it will smell very nice still. Okay, so that's one eye done. And now I'm going to do the other eye. You are actually going to do this to the mouth as well. That's why you use so many dried cloves. So these dried cloves will cover up any of the white skin left. So that is what I said earlier about how you don't have to get rid of it all. If any of your dried cloves break, that's fine. They should still stick in pretty well. If they break off and just fall out, just replace it. It already smells very nice. But here is your beginning of orange. So now it's got its little cloves in there. You have a couple different ways that you can do the top. It's quite easy, so I'm probably not going to show it to you. So you just take out a rod and you just stick it in the middle. You can use little curvy pretzels. So take one or two out. It doesn't matter if they're stale. If they are, it doesn't matter. If they aren't, this still doesn't matter. But you're going to want to break these until they're like, you're going to want to break off these two bits. So first, you can put your thumb over it and then crack it. There we go. Now you have kind of a half-heart thing. Do that to the other side. First, you can take these and you'll need to probably space out this area a little more. And then you'll want to stick these two little things, or as many as you want, into the hole. Now this may be varying amounts of pretzels. If you have a very small orange, then you may end up with a very small area to stick your stem in and not have a very large stem in the end. If they break off, that is fine because that adds variety to your stem. You're just gonna want to keep on putting these in until they come together. So this is what I call your funky stem. It's a very curly Q stem and it goes all over the place. You're using just regular pretzel chips. So add as many as you need until they all cram together. Once you have that, then your funky stem is complete. So that is your first way, well, actually your second way of doing the orange sugar. Now, one of my favorites is cat ears. What you do is you put 2 little holes on either side of the big hole. So you're here, and you can draw this out again if you want, but you don't really need to. So just go a little ways away, not too far, because these stems won't reach very far. So do the same for this side as you did for this side. And then you take your longer piece. You'll want to have some longer and some shorter. And figure out probably, if you have them tall enough, you can probably just do one. But those would be really neat, really gigantic. There's your first cat ear. It may look more like a teddy bear ear. So if you get your ears in, and there's still a lot of space, you may want to put in a second layer of ear. So here's your first layer. They're very cute. Cute little bear/cat ears. As this is still a very loose thing, I'm going to stick in some of these little bits to make it a little more secure. Ooh, this one's funky. So there we go. It's by no means perfect, but it is a very cute little cat. Oh, it's more like a bear. Okay, so that is your third version, the cat. Feel free to put dried cloves in the top if you'd like. Happy Halloween!